I've been improving my communication skills for almost 4 years now, and in that time, I've built up a pretty social life for myself. And one of the many things which I've learned in these last 4 years is which of the habits, the social skills improvement habits, are actually important, worthwhile, and give you results, and which are kind of just a waste of time. And one habit, right, one kind of, which maybe you could even see as a mindset, which is undeniably the most useful one for not just improving your social skills, but for also improving in any other area of life, learning anything else, and just living a better life. This habit is simply having the action habit. Now, what I mean when I say the action habit is I mean having the habit of instead of just spending time, let's say if you're learning about social skills, instead of just spending time in your room watching videos like this or reading books and feeling like you're productive and you're actually improving, which, okay, you kind of are, but not nearly as much as you might think, instead of doing that, actually going out into the street and using the information that you learned. So if you learn to talk to girls in this way, you actually go out into the street, you find some girls and you try talking to them in that way. If you learn to have this kind of body language, you go out into the street, you find some people and you speak to them while using that kind of body language. This is the action habit. Going and actually taking action on the things which you learned or anything else in life. The reason this is such a good thing is because taking action and participating in something, right, in doing something, can teach you lessons which you will not be able to learn in any other way. There's this guy who has like a podcast host, right? His name is Chris Williamson, who I like watching a lot. And one of the biggest lessons of 2025 for him was that there are these lessons called unteachable lessons. Essentially, they are lessons which are pretty well known. Everyone kind of knows them, but no one will ever learn them and agree with them until they themselves have actually went and done them. One of the very good ones is money won't make you happy. You find an unhappy person who's also broke, right? And you tell him that money won't make him happy. There's not a single person on this earth who would then just hear that from like a millionaire driving a Lambo and just be like, yeah, you know what? I think he's right. I'm not gonna make any money. I'm gonna be broke for the rest of my life. It's just an unteachable lesson. Now, I think that when it comes to the action habit, the reason you learn a lot of things which are unteachable is because when you do the action habit, you're not just performing and experiencing the things which you would usually learn in a book or podcast video, whatever. You're also going through a lot of kind of mental, emotional things which you can only learn through action. One really good one is dealing with embarrassment. If you want to improve your social skills, right, and you actually perform the action habit, what's going to be happening a lot is you're going to be walking up to people, you're going to be speaking to girls, and you're going to be embarrassing the shit out of yourself. You're going to be saying the wrong things, you're going to be having just bad timing, because especially in the start, you're just not socially calibrated to speak to strangers, speak to anyone really, apart from like your parents and your close friends. And so whatever you try to say, even if it's like the perfect script of like the perfect planned thing to say, you're still gonna mess it up because you're just your mannerisms, your way of speaking, your way of standing around is gonna be weird. You're gonna embarrass yourself a lot. And here's a pro tip as well. Most of these kind of embarrassing moments that happen to you in the start, you're gonna realize one of the biggest things is like that you're gonna realize down the line is that those moments weren't actually ever that embarrassing. You were just making them embarrassing in your head. Like these days, this is kind of a side tangent, but it's a good tip. These days, I see videos. You know, it's like the meme where you go, for example, to like the movie theater and you buy a ticket or you buy some popcorn, and the guy tells you like enjoy the movie, and then you tell him like, oh, thanks, you too. And then it's like a funny meme, and the guy like pulls out a gun and shoots everyone, right? That only that's only awkward because of the fact that you don't really have enough experience talking to people. A few years ago, sure, that would have made me feel like I want to kill myself because saying something like that would have made me like so feeling so uncomfortable. But now, like, it's no big deal. Now, even if I say something like that, I'll either turn it into a joke or I'll just leave and I won't care. Because one thing which comes with experience is that you know that people just forget. Like, even if you said something like that to a guy, the next, like, 5 seconds he would forget. Because it's probably the 10th time that he's heard that just that day, and he's got way more shit to think about in his head than to think about the fact that you said this kind of random, kind of dumb thing. No one cares. It's not that important, and it's only awkward because you just haven't spoken to enough people and haven't dealt with enough embarrassment, which, again, as I said, is an unteachable lesson which only comes from the action habits. The second thing that the action habit teaches you is pushing through fear. Again, a lot of the times, especially in the start when you're walking up to people, but especially when you're walking up to girls, it's gonna be really scary. You're gonna have a lot of anxiety, and you're not gonna want to do it. But one of the biggest things that you're always gonna keep doing when you're making these interactions is pushing through fear. Having the discipline, training up your discipline and your courage to go and speak to that guy, speak to that girl, walk up to that group of people, even though you don't want to, even though it's scary, you're anxious, you don't want to do it, you still go, you walk up to that group of people, you speak to them, and just the fact that you're doing this improves your level of courage, right? Because that's like a skill that the more you use it, the better it gets, and it will just be useful for other areas of life. Again, something you can't learn in a book. Now, doing these things, like walking up to people and having the actual action habit, is probably the most difficult part of improving your social skills. You watching this video, sitting in your room, probably a dark room like mine, watching a video like this, or reading a book, or going through a course. This is the comfortable part, right? This is the part where you watch videos and you're learning information, you feel productive because of it. But this is the part which will get you maybe 5% of the way there. The other 95% you will gain through the action habit, through going and actually speaking to people. And as you just said previously, that tends to be really scary, especially at the start. So one really good like tip as well for the end of the video that I can give you, which really helps, is having social pressure. Essentially, when you have people kind of expecting you to do something, you're more likely to do it because you don't want to get them thinking like, calling you out because you said you were going to do something and you ended up not doing it. So a really good thing you can do is if you have like a friend, tell him literally like, go to town with a friend and tell him like, today I'm going to cold approach 3 people and speak to them. And if I don't, I'll buy you like a Monster, like an energy drink, or I'll treat you to dinner. And by doing this now, it's not just about you leveling up your social skills, it's about the fact that you don't want to pay for dinner and spend all your money on some expensive ass dinner for your friend, right? A lot of people don't have, sadly, friends or, who are kind of in the same space. Most people actually don't have friends who are in the same social skills space or who they can really do this with. So one really good tip as well that I can give you is you can check out the first link in the description, which will take you to my free community, which is where you will find other like-minded guys who are also improving their social skills. So what you can do is you can literally just write a post in the community where you're like, today I'm going to cold approach 3 people, and tomorrow, or let's say tonight, I'm writing a post about it. And then you literally just write down how it went for every approach. Like, today I approached this girl in front of the mall and went like this, and maybe you even take a picture with the girl just to post as proof in the community. Now, the reason you want to do this, the reason it's going to give you more motivation is because you don't want people coming back in the community tomorrow calling you out on your bullshit because you said you were going to do this thing, but you didn't send the message that you did. As well, in the community, you can also hop on a free call with me, and you can also find other very valuable assets such as communication skills course that I've made and other exclusive, bonuses that you can only find in the community. So you can check that out, as I said, first link in the description. It's absolutely free. And if you found this video helpful, I think you'll find a lot of value in this video right here. Click the subscribe button and do the work.